Hello, welcome back. My name's Dina, and this is the extended Whatever Wants to Come Out reading following our daily Dharma influences. We've got the Destroyer. The Destroyer looks like 23. See the eyes of the wolf or the coyote, some type of beast energy here coming through center of a circle. So although it may look scary, being that it's coming through the center of a circle tells me that this is, I'm sensing this is an element of self, not to be afraid of, but to be confronted. And the inner destroyer energy. So the destroyer can be Shiva. We've talked about Shakti and Shiva energy a little bit here and there. Let's see what else we've got on the bottom. The threshold, okay, and that looks like 45. So we're standing at the threshold of some jumping off point, and that's kind of what I was sensing here, is this encountering of the aspect of self that needs to put a change into play, to say something, to stop something, to start something. There's action necessary, and there's the fear threshold of encountering the perhaps judged aspects of self that are coming into our awareness, or that we have possibly pushed back, repressed. The bridge. Yeah, crossing this threshold, there's a rainbow bridge, and until perhaps we've met certain soul requirements, certain soul growth, it's as though there's this ocean or magma or chasm below that we're being asked to trust that there's a bridge that spans the two sides. But right now, the two people or the two ideals or the two circumstances and the values or whatever is, our human mind wants to judge these two oppositional forces as not two sides of one coin, but as something to be either eradicated or walked away from. But there's an integration necessary with the bridge showing up in these rainbow essences. And there's a lot of darkness, but then that rainbow is reflected down below. So it's almost like, and this is what, the 38 card. It's an 11. It's almost as though to trust that the bridge is there and that will support us, we have to gain a certain level of awareness, a certain preparation here that goes into that. And then there's looking towards something as evidence. How do I want to explain this? I was just seeing the vampire that doesn't have a reflection in the mirror versus this bridge is reflected in the mirror of the ocean. So I'm not sure where we're going with that one, but let's see if that comes back around. A couple more out of this deck. The flame, 51. There's a sacred temple providing a protective shroud, I want to say, around our own sacred flame. And this to me seems like the mask, the social persona or presence that we don't, we shield ourselves with our outer expression. And it's not the fullness of who we are. But then here we see this mystic coming through. 21. It's the ending of a cycle, the seeing through of what happens. This is the point where the flame gathers enough luminosity to cast the reflection of the bridge into the waters below so that we can see through the above and the below. See those two eyes here, and this one in a triangle, and this one, the antenna here, are creating this pyramid triangle, and then it sits in this triangle here. Something about a pyramid or a triangle. Maybe there's some kind of hierarchical structure in place, or a nested frequency. If you get where I'm going with that, it's one head and many followers, a group dynamic with a leader. And the mystic, I would possibly argue that the mystic is not normally the leader of a group. They are one of the fold, and one that has greater awareness. And I say that not to say that the leader isn't equally as intuitive, but the leader has a different function necessarily. Not always. Take it in context of your situation. But the flame is at the center of this moth energy. The moth is drawn to the flame. The flame gathering luminosity within the self illuminates the self. And so this preparation here is perhaps your ability to shine through the container, the shroud, and cast your own luminosity and your own shadows and light, your own prismatic emanation. Like when you shine the light through a prism, it doesn't cast a shadow, it casts a rainbow. There's something here about the ability, your ability to show yourself and to feel comfortable in your own skin enough to show yourself and to be who and what you are here to be and to do. There's a sacred threshold here, and maybe I'm being shown that is somewhat to do with the integration of your judged inner self, the integration of the shadow self or of the aggressive self here is allowing yourself to be seen for your fullness, your authenticity, your truthful display, and your integrity. What is making you upset? It seems that there's something here, or upset. It doesn't need to be an upset. What is showing this piece of yourself through the almost through the eyes? There's the eyes here and the eyes here. It's like the passion and the dedication and the values that you hold very close to, that you hold dear, are shining through, and now there is this witnessing of your sacred positioning here. I wanted to turn that other one more then. Okay, the queen. Okay, two more then. The queen and the nectar. Those are nice coming out together. So the queen has the lotus flower shown, and the nectar has a rose or some type of, maybe even a peony. Peon. Isn't that something that we call the little folks in a disrespectful manner? What is that? Where does that come from? Is that, I mean, I'm seeing some type of like the disrespect of, I don't even want to say that. If you know, then you know. The queen is like someone who's ready to ascend, somebody who is stepping up. And I'm wondering if this is supposed to be a depiction of Venus here with this yellowish planetary, or if it's supposed to be a depiction of some type of a moon or something else. To me, with that red outline, it's almost like Venus and Mars together, which right now, if you follow astrology, they're both right there on top of Pluto, which is the god of the underworld. And here we have us encountering our own underworld, suppressed nature. And perhaps there's a need to rile up our inner warrior mentality, our inner beast to be able to advocate for something, but with poise and the delicacy that a moth or a butterfly brings into the equation. The queen is able to make a statement without saying a word at times, and often does, whether that's the dignity that this queen, male or female, holds themselves. They walk into the room, the way that they do not need to argue for validation or to seek for approval, but to stand steady, shoulders back, eyes meeting others' gaze. Knowing what we bring to the table, knowing the sweet nectar that's within, we hold ourselves in such esteem that there's no question, if we're not being valued, then we do not stay. So we are at the threshold. Do I stay or do I go now? And that seems to be a good question. I pulled out a couple new decks just now. We got the 1111 coming through, and there we have a couple cards. So this deck is the Tao Te Ching deck, and these can be a little bit multi-dimensional. So let me just read these. We have 5 of these popping out. So this will probably be the end of the reading here. 27. A good traveler has no fixed plans and is not intent upon arriving. It's all about the journey and the path. A good artist lets his intuition lead him wherever it wants. A good scientist has freed himself of concepts and keeps his mind open to what is. Thus, the master is available to all people and doesn't reject anyone. He's ready to use all situations and doesn't waste anything. This is called embodying the light. What is a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's job? If you don't understand this, you will get lost, however intelligent you are. It is the great secret. And in the Daily Dharma today, we were talking about pushing people back to, no, it was yesterday's, back into integrity, right? So somehow we are feeding into this where we're being shown that we don't have all of the answers. The answers are in this process of being revealed to us. We are discovering, we are being able to see through and piece it together, which is reinvigorating the flame. Why are we here? What are we doing? Are we wasting the situation and just turning our back on the lesson and walking away as though we've got it all figured out? Or are we really saying, what is this showing me to? How am I able to listen to my inner aggressive force that wants to tell me what I do and do not deserve? Am I being valued? Am I valuing myself? Am I trusting the process? Am I flowing? Etc. 61. When a country obtains great power, it becomes like the sea. All streams run downward into it. The more powerful it grows, the greater the need for humility. That's the pyramidal structure here, the hierarchy. Humility means trusting the Tao, thus never needing to be defensive. That came up already. A great nation is like a great man. When he makes a mistake, he realizes it. Having realized it, he admits it. Having admitted it, he corrects it. He considers those who point out his faults as his most benevolent teachers. He thinks of his enemy as the shadow that he himself casts. Casting of shadows. If a nation is centered in the Tao, if it nourishes its own people and doesn't meddle in the affairs of others, it will be a light to all nations in the world. Excellent. You've served as an example of someone else overcoming their own limitations. 76. Men are born soft and supple, dead they are stiff and hard. Plants are born tender and pliant, dead they are brittle and dry. Thus, whoever is stiff and inflexible here is a disciple of death. Whoever is soft and yielding is a disciple of life. The hard and stiff will be broken, the soft and supple will prevail. So be yielding and receptive, even in the midst of this integration process. The more that you can learn, even if you feel that others have more to learn, the further you will rise in your ascension of your own queenly throne, kingly throne, the appropriate use of your energy. So yes, Sweeping Sister Willow came up in between readings, talking about the forgiveness necessary and the ability to flow and to witness new aspects of something. 54. Whoever is planted in the Tao will not be rooted up. Whoever embraces the Tao will not slip away. Her name will be held in honor from generation to generation. Let the Tao be present in your life and you will become genuine. Let it be present in your family and your family will flourish. Let it be present in your country and your country will be an example to all countries in the world. Let it be present in the universe and the universe will sing. How do I know this is true? By looking inside myself. Yeah, being firm in your convictions and in your value is all I want to add to that one. 65. The ancient masters didn't try to educate the people, but kindly taught them to not know, eradicating the limitations to further growth. There was something, I didn't speak on it, but something that was said earlier was referring to that, to the unknowing process, to the surpassing of the limitations, the edges of logic, and into potentiality. When they think that they know the answers, people are difficult to guide. When they know that they don't know, people can find their own way. If you want to learn how to govern, being that strong leader, avoid being clever or rich. The simplest pattern is the clearest. Content with an ordinary life, you can show all people the way back to their own true nature. So maybe somebody's doing something for comfort, for ease, or to avoid looking at something here. And we've shown a light that's creating a very extreme transformation. I would suppose that both individuals are having this moment of awakening to the needs and the stances of the other individuals present in this group, and that there's an umbrella or a group goal that is being served here. And instead of creating harmony or creation of harmony instead of discord, here is that chord, that vibrational resonance that is allowing both individuals to step across the threshold, stepping across the aisle. I don't know if you have a political thing that you're thinking of as well, but politics can come into any relationship, and especially any group dynamic, any type of hierarchical ideology or awareness. And even with this queenly energy, it's been coming up recently, the surpassing of the limitations that are imposed upon us socially or stereotypically, especially in our feminine aspects. You know, do we give as much credit to the feminine? Even myself being a feminine, when I walk into martial arts, I was afraid to be taken as just a woman, and I was also afraid to be disregarded as that or to act in that way. And so there was this more protective, defensive stance that was adopted that may have eclipsed the deeper awareness of what's being promoted now. So however this feeds into your own situation, there's definitely movement going on here. So we'll leave it there. Check back if you need a little more with one of the other readings. Take care.